right now, the way I have the web server configured, if I access it on the local machine using 127.0.0.1, that works. If I say localhost, that works as well. But if I try to access this from another machine, it doesn't work. So here, this is running in remote desktop on a different computer, and I'm going to go ahead and launch Chrome here. And if I go to devpc :8000 and try loading it, it actually doesn't work. Will not connect. And that's because the way I started the web server in WebUI, the only IP address that you can use to connect to the web server is 127.0.0.1, which is fine for testing. But if you want to be able to connect to it from other machines, or you want to actually have it running on the internet, you have to change the configuration just a little bit. So what I'm going to do instead, and I can also double check that here. So if I let me just pull up a command shell, and I can find out what my IP address is on this machine by doing ifconfig. Actually, it's ipconfig on Windows. And then it will tell me that this particular machine on my local area net has this IP address, 192.168.2.230. And if I try to connect to that instead, 192.168.2.230, that gets rejected as well, because once again, only 127.0.0.1 will work. So what I'm going to do is go to my WebUI file, and in this run command where I'm specifying the port, I can also specify host. And then if I want to allow it to accept connections on any IP address that maps to this machine, I can specify 0.0.0.0 in addition to the port. So this is basically a wildcard that will allow it to accept connections from anywhere. So when I start it now, you'll notice that it was saying running on 127.0.0.1 before, but now it's additionally saying that it's running on this other interface, and so I can connect to it from a browser. So I'm going to just reload that URL, and it loads up right away. And then similarly, if I go back to my actual machine and then reload it here, that works as well.